we are back today with the most popular series on the channel. We're combining famous brands with well-known football clubs. We'll be designing mashups of their logos and completely new unique jerseys. If you haven't seen part 1, go check it out later and make sure to subscribe, there's plenty more jersey content on the way. So today's lineup is a mix of top clubs and some underrated ones too. But we are kicking things off with Bayern Munich and BMW. You guys have been asking for that one a lot. You know, the easy route would be just to slap the BMW logo in the middle and change the text. But we don't do low effort designs like that usually. So we're tweaking it. We'll change the color to gray like the current BMW logo. The red circle becomes white and the two inner segments, one red, one blue. That goes red too. Now that looks way more interesting. So here are both versions and some monochrome ones. We are putting those straight onto a white jersey. Stick around till the end. We're doing two totally different designs today. So we are adding the missing logos, a patch at the bottom and one on the sleeve. Let's also change the colors of them. One red, one white, like this. Red color, black Adidas stripes, yeah. Then we're adding a pattern across the whole jersey inspired by the BMW logo. Let's throw their name in the middle. Actually, how about the blue version too? Yeah, can't decide which is better, so we'll just do both. But first, let's knock out the back of the jersey. Thomas Müller, a legend, obviously. And here is the finished version with the red pattern and the one with the blue. And a bonus red and blue version. Probably the worst one. Let us know which one you like more. But now, time for a more unusual concept. In part 1, we did a Ferrari plus Juve mashup and used a car tire pattern. And since BMW is probably the most popular drift car in Europe, we are going with some burnout tire marks for this one. But this won't be a symmetrical design this time. So we are painting the whole jersey red. Stripes and color look like this. Very nice. The tricky part was placing the tire texture. You know, took a bunch of trial and error, but after about 20 minutes of testing we found the perfect spot. Added one on the sleeve too, exactly like that. The same graphic for the back of the shirt, and that's the final design. Here's the away version in blue and a clean all white one. And now it's time for a lesser known club. I think this might be the Balkan club's debut on the channel, Dinamo Zagreb. We're pairing them with Domino's Pizza because their logos are very similar. Bro, even Dinamo's logo is circular, just like a pizza, so it makes sense. First, we're swapping the blue out for Domino's brand color and creating a similar checkered pattern, like that. Then we'll swap that in for the one they currently use. Boom, just like this. We also made a version rotated 45 degrees to match the Domino's logo. Here are both versions side by side. Now, let's move on to the jersey designs actually. We've got 2, maybe even 3 different concepts. Let's start with the coolest one. The shirt's gonna be dark blue, of course. Let's quickly throw on all the logos and cook up something cool. The top part of the jersey will look like this, a Croatian style checkered pattern. Here we'll paint 2 lines like this to create a shape of a pizza slice. Hope you say it. We'll add a pattern here too. Logo on the sleeve, gold details inspired by Dinamo's logo. The back will be similar, name and number with a gold outline. And that's it. This one combines pizza, Dinamo and Croatia. That's perfect, but that's not all. The second design is more Domino's style, so we are changing the color of the jersey and covering the whole thing with a dotted pattern, referencing the logo of course. We're adding red details, and to finish it off, we painted a sauce-like pattern, like tomato sauce, but to make it make more sense, we also made a yellow version. Now it looks like a pizza. Here are both versions again, so let us know what you think. Next up, Chelsea. Someone in the comments suggested combining them with Pepsi. So here are 2 logos side by side. I don't know about you, but that old Pepsi logo is way cooler. We're starting with the details, swapping the gold for black, coloring the lion as well, and for the final touch, we're adding that Pepsi wave pattern onto the club badge. And here is what the final combo looks like. As you can see, we also added a white outline to tie everything together nicely. Now onto the jerseys. Stick around, we've got 3 totally different designs coming. 1 a little overcomplicated and 2 clean and simple. This time we're starting with the overcomplicated one. The base is ready, we just need to color the cuffs and the color. Then we are adding this grainy texture over the whole thing, kind of a follow-up to their current kits. We'll throw it on the sleeves too, but yeah, we hit a problem. It just didn't look that interesting, so after some time we eventually landed on this texture, and the red accents really make it pop. We also tried a darker version and a dark version with the red elements instead of white, but you know, that's just a follow-up concept based on their current kits. We wanted to go for something way more unique. So we scrapped the texture, and on a fully blue shirt we added these white spots that didn't look good, right? So half an hour later of playing around the filters, and we finally got this cool holographic effect. It's got all the colors from both the Pepsi and Chelsea logos, probably our favorite design of the day. And for the fans of super simple designs, we also made this really basic concept waiting for your review. But hold up guys, now it's time for something unexpected. Al Nassr, Cristiano Ronaldo's current club, and Real Madrid, his former club. Now you might say Real Madrid isn't exactly a brand, you know, but come on, it totally is. It's probably more popular than Domino's Pizza. And besides, their logos look way too similar. So we'll start by combining the crowns, taking the bottom half from Real's crown because it has a better shape. We'll just make it a solid blue. Then we grab the top half of the crown from here. Now we erase the middle part of the Real Madrid logo. But actually, let's leave the letter M there. Yeah, cool. Then we move the map of Arabia to the center and unify the colors. Blue from here, gold from there. Let's also add an outline to the Arabian map, and boom, it's done. But we'll also need a one color version. Here is how that looks. So we are placing the logo on a plain white jersey, and yep, this one's gonna be a Nike kit, since they actually had Nike kits back in the day. But don't worry, there will be an Adidas jersey at the end too. So base is ready. Let's color in the details yellow and add the league badge on the sleeve. Here is what the Al Nassr sponsor logo looks like. We're taking that graphic element and placing it like this, also on the sleeve. You'll see why in a second. Let's make it yellow too. Now we're adding a mirrored version of the graphic on the back, and check it out, it kinda forms the letter M, like Madrid. Really, I hope you say it. But the second Nike design is also white, but this time we are only using blue element. We've got some Arabic calligraphy on here, which probably doesn't make sense. If you speak the language, let us know in the comments. Finally, time for the Adidas version. This one's inspired by their current kits, so we color the whole thing like this. We're bringing the calligraphy back. Again, probably no sense, but let's just make it blue. Nice. It's gonna look premium though. We're making all the other elements gold, and that's the final design. This time I think we didn't overcomplicate it, right? And if you wanna learn jersey design yourself, we put together a short course, essentials only. Everything that's included is listed in the product description, links down below. Once I remembered what their logo looks like and what the collabs called, this combo just made total sense. Sparta Prague and PlayStation. You see it, right? We're erasing the S from the logo and replacing it with PS. Then we'll color the stripes using the PlayStation palette. Yellow, blue, that other blue, and the P will be red. And basically it's done. We are not changing anything else here. But don't worry, the jerseys aren't gonna be that simple. We've got a bunch of different concepts coming. Let's start with the most obvious one. Everyone pretty much knows these 4 buttons, right? So we gave them a bit of a grunge vibe like this and laid them out on the shirt, something like this. Yeah, at the end we added a blur grain effect like that and used the same pattern on the sleeves, on the back too, with the name and number of course, plus a small detail. So that's the finished design, front and back. Let's move on to the second concept. This time we wanted to reference the PlayStation colors, you know, those stripes, and their classic red kits. The first idea was super simple. We just added a stripe on the front and colored the cuffs, collar and stripes this way. And the project was basically done, but then we wanted to make it more interesting. So here is version 2 with bigger stripes and some on the lower back too. And now level 3 of overcomplication. Stripes in random positions all over the jersey. But we are still not done. The next concept is just total abstract. We made a pattern out of the stripes and covered the whole jersey with it. Kinda like a, you know, colorful away kit. But since Sparta's away kits are often white and they often use vertical stripes, we wanted to nod to that too. So we removed all the unnecessary stuff, left just the logos, then made a pattern with colorful vertical stripes. Like that. We added it to the front and back. We also threw in some black elements here and there, you know, to add more contrast to the design. And that's all the project. Here is a quick slideshow. Take a sec to check them out and let us know what you think. Really, give us some feedback, guys. And the last combo for today. We've got some fans of Swedish football here, and one of their clubs recently made it all the way to the Conference League semi-finals, where they got knocked out by Chelsea, so let's honor them. Honestly, making it that far was pretty unbelievable, so we are pairing them with a superhero, Superman. Yeah, here's what the first version looked like. Basically, you know, just the club's logo in the shape of the Superman emblem. Super simple. But we wanted to tweak it a bit more, so we erased the center, and instead of the S, we dropped in a D. Slight color adjustments, and that's it. Now it's jersey time. The first one's gonna look like a classic Superman vibe. Also ties into the club's usual kit, so we are just adding these stripes. Nice. Then we'll color in the details, but of course the main feature has to be the K. On the front it'll look like this, kinda of stitched into the Adidas stripes, and on the back it's full red. It makes sense, right? We add the number, missing logos, and that's it. Done. We made two color versions for comparison, but yeah, it's definitely not the most practical design. So we came up with another concept, one that could actually work in real life. We kept the base, got rid of the yellow. It needed to be cleaner, simpler look, still keeping that Superman vibe. We added some extra red details, including on the back like this, and that one's basically ready. We'll definitely be doing more designs for smaller clubs soon, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's it for today. Watch the first part 2 by our course. Bye.